हरे कृष्ण। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्भागवतम की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Srimad-Bhāgavatam in story form, chapter 128. Why Duryodhana felt insulted at the end of Rajasuya sacrifice, Canto 10. During the Rajasuya sacrifice, Maharaj Yudhishthira engaged the members of the Kuru dynasty in various departments, and they performed their duties eagerly. Being bound by affection for the king, Bhima was in charge of the kitchen, Duryodhana was the treasurer, Sahadeva was in charge of reception, and Nakula was in charge of procuring needed items. Arjuna looked after the elderly people. Draupadi was in charge of food distribution. Karna took charge of the distribution of charity. And most astonishingly, Krishna was in charge of washing the feet of all the incoming guests. After the completion of the sacrifice, there was a large procession of all the kings and princes to the shore of the Ganga so that Maharaja Yudhishthira could have his Avabhrita bath. There was the accompaniment of many musical instruments as well as numerous dancers and singers. And from the sky the demigods showered flowers. All the kings were beautifully dressed and accompanied by their soldiers, and the Brahmanas chanted the Vedic mantras. After arriving at the river, the men and women of Indraprastha, who were all beautifully dressed and decorated, enjoyed themselves by smearing or throwing water, oil, milk, butter, yogurt, turmeric, and kumkuma on each other's bodies. The professional prostitutes were also engaged in jubilantly smearing these substances on the bodies of the men, and the men reciprocated in the same way. Krishna and Arjuna were throwing these liquids on the Lord's queens, who also responded by doing the same. The ladies' clothing became wet so that their breasts, thighs, and waists were partially visible. And although they felt bashful, their beautiful smiling brightened their faces. The demigods and their wives appeared in the sky to see these pastimes, for such behavior between pure males and females is enjoyable. On the hand, persons who were materially contaminated became lustful. The Brahmana priests led Maharaja Yudhishthira through the Patni Samyaj ritual, which he performed along with Draupadi, and then the Abhabhrita bath. At this time, everyone bathed in the Ganga. Maharaja Yudhishthira then dressed himself in new silk garments and honored the Brahmanas by giving them clothing and jewelry in charity. In various ways, Maharaja Yudhishthira continuously honored his friends, well-wishers, and all others present. The men shone like demigods in heaven, dressed in waistcoats, silk dhotis, valuable jewelry, and flower garlands, and the women were also gorgeously attired. At last, everyone took permission from Maharaja Yudhishthira and departed. And while going, there never they never tired of glorifying the wonderful sacrifice that had been performed by the great saintly king. One day, as Maharaj Yudhishthira was sitting upon his golden throne, surrounded by his brothers, Lord Krishna, and many others, Duryodhana came along with one of his younger brothers to the assembly hall, which had been built by Maidanava. Being always in an envious and angry mood, when there was some slight provocation, Duryodhana spoke very sharply in great irritation to the doorkeeper. Then, told Yudhishthira's as he toured Yudhishthira's palace, Duryodhana saw the collected opulence of kings, demigods, and demons all in one place. With those riches, Draupadi served her husbands, and Duryodhana was very unhappy to see this, because he had always been very attracted to her ever since the time of her marriage to the Pandavas. Duryodhana had been present at that time, and along with many other princes, he had become captivated by Draupadi's beauty. Krishna's thousands of queens were also staying in Yudhishthira's palace, moving here and there very slowly, their ankle bells tinkling in a very charming manner. Their waists were slender, the kumkuma powder on their breasts reddened their pearl necklaces, and their flowing hair enhanced the exquisite beauty of their faces. By the workmanship of the demon Maya, the palace was arranged in such a way that one who did not know the tricks would consider the floor to be water and vice versa. Due to observing the opulence of Maharaja Yudhishthira's palace, Duryodhana was already burning with envy. Then, when he became bewildered by Moidanaba's craftsmanship and fell into a pool of water, thinking it to be solid land, Bhima laughed aloud, as did the palace women present there. Maharaja Yudhishthira tried to restrain those who were laughing, but Lord Krishna indicated that the king should not do so, for he wanted the ladies to enjoy Duryodhana's foolishness. Humiliated and burning with anger, Duryodhana hung his head down in shame and left the palace without uttering a word. Seeing this, those who were present regretted the incident, especially Yudhishthira, but Lord Krishna remained silent. It was by the Lord's mere glance that Duryodhana had been put into illusion as part of his plan to remove the burden of the earth. Hare Krishna.